My name is Sarah Ticho. I'm the founder of Hatsumi, producer of Explore Deep, and co-founder of the XR Health Alliance. So I wear a few different hats, but broadly in the world of immersive technology and how that intersects with contemporary art and healthcare. Working on a lot of projects at the moment. One of our main projects is called Deep, and it's a breath-controlled virtual reality experience. So you travel through this magical underwater world controlled entirely by your breathing. We developed it in collaboration with scientists at a place called the Games for Emotional and Mental Health Lab, and are now applying it to a range of different health conditions. Initially it was on how it can be used in anxiety management and long-term anxiety regulation, which is where all our initial research was done. And now we're applying it to children with post-traumatic stress disorder and people recovering from long COVID as well. That's a very good question. So you can find Deep on Vive Flow. So we were one of the launch partners and are very excited to have it on the platform. So virtual reality can be used really broadly in the field of mental health and well-being. I think it can be really used as a tool to connect to your body in different ways. And so obviously through Deep, then we use that through controlling your movement through slow, deep breathing, but also putting you in environments that can be relaxing as well, that can create that sense of escape and awe and wonder. I think the thing that really drew me to VR originally was that sense of creation and playfulness. So one of my favourite things was trying tilt brush for the first time. I think it's a classic for everyone. I still remember the first time I tried it, and yeah, it was on a Vive, and I was like, what is this, like, you know, sixed off experience, and being able to float through space and paint with fire is just so compelling. And using, you know, creativity and different tools for expression. So that's the work that we do at Hatsumi as well. So Hatsumi means to see something for the first time. And we've almost created an adapted version of Tilt Brush where you're able to go through this mindfulness onboarding experience and think about, you know, how do I experience my body? What does my anxiety look like? Do I feel it in my stomach or my hands or my head? And does it have a color or a texture? And so being able to visualize that and draw it onto a 3D body as a way of better communicating and understanding that to yourself, but also how you can explain that to other people. But it can also be used in lots of other ways for things like phobias or exposure therapy. So, for example, there was a project that happened in the UK in a place called Devon, the hospital there, where it was patients that had very severe agoraphobia and weren't able to leave the house. And they were able to do that in virtual reality and connect with other people, and that sense of social connection and meeting people that you wouldn't have otherwise, and making sort of playful interactions, but do something that's actually quite scary, and using that as almost a training ground to be able to then leave your house and do that in a safe way. And there were people that did actually start to leave the house after that. So it's been used a lot in PTSD, a lot with war veterans here in the US as well. But I think ultimately I'm really excited about it as a tool for preventative care and how we can use it to understand ourselves and empathize with others, how it can be used in training healthcare professionals as well to understand different people's lived experiences. But the applications just keep on growing and growing, and that's where my work with the XR Health Alliance comes in, is that there are so many different applications in VR for pain management or physiotherapy. You know, exercise and fitness is obviously very important for your mental health as well as your physical health. But it felt so fragmented, and that there's pieces of work happening in universities, but then they'll publish on it and then it will just disappear. Or there's an artist that's come up with this amazing intervention but needs to find a scientist to collaborate with. And so our work with the XR Health Alliance is to create a national strategy for immersive technology in healthcare in the UK and eventually globally as well, to say, well, how can we fund and support these sort of cross-industry collaborations, but make it available to people anywhere, so that you can go to a doctor if you have a health issue and they might be able to prescribe you a VR headset to use at home, or how it can be used in libraries as something that's freely and publicly available, and connecting with hospitals and different institutions globally. So I think there's so much more to come, and this is very much the beginning. So I think if people want to explore VR to improve their own mental well-being, I think there are just so many great things already out there and available. We've published a lot of recommendations of experiences on our website, on the XR Health Alliance website, but ultimately I think it's just about play and having fun and seeing what is out there. There's lots of different wellness apps, from anything from mindfulness and slow deep breathing, but I think just exploring your own creativity as well, and I think just being able to have fun and lose yourself in those things and share it with other people as well, and connect with people that you trust, and whose company you enjoy doing. And even things like playing poker in VR with your friends is ultimately very enjoyable, and I think that just that sense of connection is important. But it's like anything, especially when it comes to mental health, there's never one solution. I think it's about how all these different things come together, and thinking about how much we exercise. Do we have places and people we can go to talk about our feelings? Do we involve play and creativity in our lives? And are we just getting enough sleep? So yeah, there's lots of things out there. I think there's often so few words in our language to express how we're feeling. And for me, the reason that I got really interested in VR was that I kind of went through my own experience of going through the health system and saw the doctor's office almost as this performance space. And they were like, what's going on with you? And I just didn't know how to explain it. I was like, there's so much, and I've got 10 minutes to tell you everything. And so I became interested in VR because I wanted to tell a story in a different way. And I think that being creative and using the arts can really help to express yourself when perhaps the words aren't there. And so being able to tap into, well, how am I feeling? And thinking about even what I'm doing with Hatsumi, of thinking about how you can express those things in the body. But I think it's just the sense of freedom and flow, and when you're just getting so into something and you're just playing and exploring. And I think we need to have more time in the day for reflecting on our own experiences and just doing something, not because it needs to be good or perfect, but just creating that space for ourselves to express ourselves and seeing us get better as well. I think often we get so stuck in things when they're new and hard, but that moment when you realize that you're getting the hang of something that is creative is really empowering, and how that can be used as a way of building bridges to other people and being able to talk to other people about the art that you've created, and understanding other people's experience through the art they've created. And I think that's what really drew me to this world, is that I think that XR opens up conversations that I didn't think was possible before.